Are you reflecting on life a little bit at the moment and maybe you're just trying to put things in perspective? Well, today I'm going to share top 5 lessons I've learned and reflected on from a near death experience when I was much younger. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra point for you then as well. As always, if you want to connect me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes as well. So, when I was 11 years old, I was in a car crash, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I like to reflect on things and think about like how they might relate to where I am. Now, I don't sit around my whole day like reflecting on like, oh, this happened because of this. It's just sometimes quite good to pick out lessons I feel and then apply them into your life or into my life, certainly. So, when I was 11 years old, my dad and I were traveling back, and the car hit something, and then it went flying. And I can remember in those moments thinking a few things, not in a crazy kind of like hectic way of like I was scared, but more just calm kind of reflection, which is very strange. Because like after them, many times in my life, I've like had panics and stresses and fears and all these kind of things. And I'm a human being at the end of the day. Yet thinking about this really put a few things in perspective for me. And it's not to say you shouldn't feel your challenging emotions. I believe that's very true, to feel things and allow to process them. It can, sometimes life can give us good lessons. So I thought this is a good experience to share some lessons I picked up with you from this car crash. So, and I actually ended up not really badly harmed. There was just a few scratches on my hand, and my dad was actually okay as well. And the car was in pieces. And I just can remember it, just like flashing before my eyes in the sense. So these are the lessons I want to share with you, and I want to invite you to maybe reflect on maybe a experience in your life that maybe taught you some lessons. So the first thing I learned is in those moments, what I could think about was people in my life at the time, and still are in my life, many of them, even 22 years on from being 11 years old to 33 years old. And I just thought about people, and I realized that people are really the only important thing. Things aren't important. Now, sometimes there's a lot of times we try and get things to impress other people. Yet, if you want the right people to you and you're truly you, I genuinely believe you can attract the right people in. So, really, I'd invite you to think about how you can invite people that matter more into your life or be with those who matter. The second thing is life is very much a gift. It sounds very like cliche. I really realize that though, that I believe there's, can go through several lives and all these kind of things, and from the work I've done and just my own beliefs. But I believe like any life you're given is an absolute gift, and therefore you've got an opportunity to shape it how you want and not play victim to challenges that maybe come your way. The third thing is you can't fight reality. In those moments as the car was going over and flipping, I remember being there and thinking, okay, I'm either going to survive this or I'm not. It was never been so calm in my life, which was crazy given the circumstance. And how many times do we fight reality and we're like, oh, this shouldn't happen, this happened, so I'm going to get really stressed. When actually we can't win against reality because it's reality. Now, I believe we can shape future reality by how we act and how we show up and have intention. What's happening right now, as you listen to me, whatever's going on in your life, if you need to process it, do that. If you need to talk to someone, please do that. I'd really invite you to. Yeah, if you're trying to resist it, you're never going to win because it's happening, right? So that's one lesson I remember feeling, that you can't fight reality as simple as it sounds. You can shape future reality though. The fourth thing I wanted to share was that trauma doesn't always show up consciously and we remember it, yet it's always going to be in our body if we don't process it and we don't work through it in a subconscious basis. So for me, like, I didn't work through this. I kind of just put it to the back of my memory, and then like all sorts of things started coming up. Like I developed like these panic attacks about a year later, and through my life, I've had quite traumatic events like losing people and not necessarily felt it. And when I've gone in to do things like breath work, that's allowed years and years later, that's allowed me to release and feel into some of these things a lot more. So what I've learned is trauma always is in the body unless you process it and allow yourself to do that. And then the fifth thing is there's a lot of kindness in the world. I remember there was a couple we were driving past and they helped us and they were kind, they were genuine. And you may think that's a decent thing to do. You don't see two people who've just had a car crash and then drive on. But what I like to think is that's just human kindness. That humans aren't always kind to each other, right? I believe that there's a lot of it, so it's really great to focus on that. Now, I've got a final point for you as well, but I want to mention again, if you want to connect with me more on social media, you can find my links in the show notes below. The final thing I'd invite you to do is just capture some magical moments in like a log as you go through your life. What has really allowed you to grow, or maybe been a gift for you? What's some kindness people have given to you? What are some great things that have unfolded? It may not always be great, but if you start writing this down and focusing on it, see how you feel. So that's what I got for you today. I appreciate you for being here, and remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.